My heart pounded in my chest, but I refused to show fear. I'd spent too many months being afraid. That part of my life was over. "You can't kill me, Cassandra," I said, my voice steady. "I'm more powerful than you know." Cassandra laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. "Oh, I know exactly what you are, Luna. Did you think you were the only one with secrets? I've known about your Moon Priestess bloodline since before I became your handmaid. Why do you think I got close to you in the first place?" The words hit me like cold water. You knew?" "Of course I knew," Cassandra said, dismounting from her horse. "My family has been hunting Moon Priestesses for generations. We're part of an old order that believes women shouldn't have power over men. And you, dear Luna, represent everything we've been trying to destroy." Dominic stepped even more firmly in front of me. "You'll have to go through me first." "Gladly," Cassandra said, drawing a long silver knife from her belt. "You were always in my way, Dominic. Always so noble, so righteous. But you were easy to manipulate. One fake pregnancy, a few tears, and you threw away your wife like garbage. Men are so predictable." Rage flashed across Dominic's face. "I was a fool, but I won't make this same mistake twice. Luna, run. Get to safety. I'll hold them off." "No," I said firmly. I placed my hand on his shoulder, and silver light flowed from my fingers. "We fight together, or we don't fight at all." Before Cassandra could give the order to attack, villagers started pouring into the clearing. Beatrice led them, carrying a rolling pin like a weapon. Thomas had a wooden staff. Even old Mrs. Henderson from the flower shop was there, holding a garden hoe. "You're not taking our Luna," Beatrice shouted, "not without going through all of us first." My eyes filled with tears. These beautiful, brave people were willing to fight an army for me. "Get back," I called to them. "Please, you'll get hurt." "So will you," Thomas yelled back. "We protect our own." Dominic's soldiers came running too, led by Marcus. They formed a protective circle around the villagers, weapons drawn. "We stand with our king," Marcus announced, "and if the king stands with Lady Luna, then so do we." Now it was two armies facing each other in the forest clearing. Dominic's 50 soldiers and the brave villagers of Haven's Rest on one side, Cassandra's 100 soldiers on the other. We were outnumbered, but we had something they didn't. We had the moon goddess on our side. I stepped forward, past Dominic, past the protective circle of soldiers and villagers. I walked into the open space between the two armies, my head held high. "Cassandra," I called out, "you want me? Here I am. But leave these people alone. This fight is between you and me." "Dominic, no!" Dominic shouted. "Don't do this." But I ignored him. I focused on Cassandra, on her cruel smile and greedy eyes. "One on one," I said. "You and me. No armies, no weapons. Just our own strength. If you win, you can take me. If I win, you leave and never come back." Cassandra tilted her head, considering. "You think you can beat me in a fair fight? I've been training to kill Moon Priestesses my whole life. I know all your weaknesses." "Then you should have no problem accepting my challenge," I said calmly. The truth was, I had no idea if I could beat her. I'd only had a few weeks to practice my powers. But I knew one thing. I wouldn't let innocent people die for me. Not Dominic, not the villagers, not the soldiers who were just following orders. This ended here, one way or another. "Fine," Cassandra said, handing her knife to one of her soldiers. "I accept. And when I defeat you, Luna, I'm going to make your husband watch as I cut out your heart." She walked into the open space, cracking her knuckles. She was tall and strong, with the build of a warrior. She'd been training for combat while I'd been learning to arrange flowers and pour tea. But I had something she didn't have, something that made all the difference. I had the moon's blessing. "Begin," one of Cassandra's soldiers shouted. Cassandra charged at me like a bull, fast and fierce, but my Moon Priestess senses made her movements seem slow. I could see exactly where she would strike before she did it. I dodged to the side easily, and she stumbled past me. "Lucky move," she growled, spinning around. She came at me again, throwing punches and kicks that would have broken bones if they'd connected. but they didn't connect. I moved like water, flowing around her attacks, never quite where she expected me to be. "Stand still," she screamed, frustrated. "No," I said simply. I raised my hand, and silver light burst forth, not to hurt her, but to blind her temporarily. She stumbled backward, covering her eyes. When her vision cleared, I was standing right in front of her. "You wanted to kill me because you're afraid. Afraid of powerful women. Afraid that if women like me exist, then everything you believe about the world is wrong." "I'm not afraid of you," Cassandra shouted. "Yes, you are," I said. I could see into her heart now, see all her fears and insecurities. "You're terrified because deep down you know the truth, that women don't need men's permission to be powerful, that we're not less than you, that all your hunting and killing and destroying has been for nothing." "Shut up," Cassandra swung at me wildly. I caught her fist in my glowing hand. Her eyes went wide of shock as silver light spread from my palm up her arm. "I could hurt you right now," I said. "I could break every bone in your body with just a thought. But I won't, because unlike you, I don't believe in destroying people who are different from me." I released her hand and stepped back. "You lose, Cassandra. Not because I beat you in a fight, but because your hatred has already destroyed you from the inside. Now leave, take your soldiers and go. And if you ever come near me or anyone I care about again, I won't be so merciful." For a moment, Cassandra just stood there, breathing hard, her eyes full of rage and disbelief. She'd lost, and everyone had seen it. "This isn't over," she hissed. "Yes, it is," I said firmly. "It's over because I say it's over. Now go." But Cassandra wasn't done. Her face twisted with fury, and she pulled a hidden dagger from her boot. Before anyone could react, she lunged at me with the blade aimed straight at my heart. Everything seemed to happen in slow motion. Dominic shouted my name. The villagers screamed, and I raised my hand. Silver light exploded from my palm, forming a shield so bright that it lit up the entire forest like the sun. Cassandra's dagger hit the shield and shattered into pieces. The force of it threw her backward. She landed hard on the ground, gasping for breath. "I gave you a chance," I said, and my voice echoed with power. Not just my voice, but the voice of every Moon Priestess who had come before me. "I offered you mercy, but you chose violence, so now face the consequences." I raised both hands towards the sky. The moon, even though it was daytime, began to glow brighter in the sky. Silver light poured down like rain, surrounding Cassandra and her soldiers. "You will forget this place," I commanded, my voice ringing with authority. "You will forget Haven's Rest. You will forget me, and you will feel compelled to leave these lands and never return. This is the moon goddess's judgment upon you." The light wrapped around Cassandra and her soldiers. They all stood frozen, eyes glazed, as the magic worked through them. When the light faded, they stumbled around, looking confused. "Where are we?" Cassandra asked, looking around like she'd just woken from a dream. "Why are we in a forest?" one of her soldiers asked. "We should go back to camp. I don't remember how we got here." They mounted their horses and rode away, confused and disoriented, heading south, away from Haven's Rest, away from me. I watched them go, then dropped to my knees, exhausted. Using that much power had drained me completely. Dominic was at my side instantly, catching me before I fell. "Luna, are you all right? That was incredible. I've never seen anything like that." The villagers rushed forward too, cheering and crying with relief. Beatrice hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. Mira was jumping up and down with joy. Even old Mrs. Henderson from the flower shop was there, holding a garden hoe. "You're not taking our Luna," Beatrice shouted, "not without going through all of us first." My eyes filled with tears. These beautiful, brave people were willing to fight an army for me. "Get back," I called to them. "Please, you'll get hurt." "So will you," Thomas yelled back. "We protect our own." Dominic's soldiers came running too, led by Marcus. They formed a protective circle around the villagers, weapons drawn. "We stand with our king," Marcus announced, "and if the king stands with Lady Luna, then so do we." Now it was two armies facing each other in the forest clearing. Dominic's 50 soldiers and the brave villagers of Haven's Rest on one side, Cassandra's 100 soldiers on the other. We were outnumbered, but we had something they didn't. We had the moon goddess on our side. I stepped forward, past Dominic, past the protective circle of soldiers and villagers. I walked into the open space between the two armies, my head held high. "Cassandra," I called out, "you want me? Here I am. But leave these people alone. This fight is between you and me." "Dominic, no!" Dominic shouted. "Don't do this." But I ignored him. I focused on Cassandra, on her cruel smile and greedy eyes. "One on one," I said. "You and me. No armies, no weapons. Just our own strength. If you win, you can take me. If I win, you leave and never come back." Cassandra, want to see what happens next? Subscribe and join the journey. But peace never lasts long. Just as Dominic and his soldiers disappeared into the forest, a horrible scream echoed through the village. Everyone froze. "That came from the inn!" Beatrice shouted. We all ran back toward Haven's Rest. My heart pounded with fear. What now? Hadn't we had enough danger for one day? When we reached the village square, we found chaos. More soldiers, not Cassandra's, not Dominic's, were everywhere. They wore black armor with red symbols I didn't recognize. And standing in the middle of them all was someone I never expected to see. Iris, the old woman who had taught me about my powers. But she wasn't alone. She was being held by two large soldiers, and she looked terrified. "Iris!" I shouted, running toward her. But before I could reach her, a man stepped out from behind the soldiers. He was tall and handsome, with silver hair and cold blue eyes. He wore a crown made of black metal and dark jewels. "Hello, Luna Moon Shadow," he said smoothly. "I've been waiting to meet you for a very long time." "Who are you?" I demanded. "I am Alpha King Aldrich of the Western Kingdom," he said with a cruel smile, "and I'm here to collect what belongs to me." "Nothing here belongs to you," I said, raising my glowing hands. "Let Iris go, now." Aldrich laughed. "Oh, but you're wrong, little Moon Priestess. You see, I've been planning this for years. Cassandra worked for me all along. She was supposed to weaken the Northern Kingdom from the inside, make Dominic look like a fool, and then kill you when you were vulnerable." My blood ran cold. "Cassandra worked for you?" "Of course," Aldrich said. "Did you really think she came up with that pregnancy plan by herself? I've been manipulating events for months, Luna. Getting rid of you, destabilizing Dominic's rule, all so I could swoop in and take over both kingdoms." "But why? What do you want with me?" Aldrich's smile grew wider and more terrible. "Because Moon Priestess blood is the most powerful magic in the world, and if I kill you and take your power for myself, I'll be unstoppable. I'll rule all the kingdoms. No one will be able to stand against me." "You can't take my power," I said, trying to sound confident, even though fear was crawling up my spine. "Actually, it does," Iris said weakly. Her voice was pained and apologetic. "There's a dark ritual, Luna, a terrible spell that can steal a Moon Priestess's power and give it to someone else. I should have told you before, but I prayed that no one remembered how to do it anymore." "But I remembered," Aldrich said proudly. "I've spent 20 years researching, searching through old books, finding the ritual, and now everything is perfect. You're away from Dominic's protection, you're tired from fighting Cassandra, and I have your precious teacher as my hostage." He pulled out a wicked-looking dagger with strange symbols carved in the blade. "So here's what's going to happen, Luna. You're going to come with me quietly. You're going to let me perform the ritual. And if you do, I'll let your teacher live. I'll let this pathetic little village survive. But if you resist..." He pressed the dagger against Iris's throat. The villagers gasped. Beatrice grabbed my arm. Mira started crying. I looked at Iris, at her scared old face, at the blade against her neck. Then I looked at all the people of Haven's Rest, the people who had protected me, fought for me, become my family. I couldn't let them die. I wouldn't. "Okay," I said, quietly. "I'll come with you. Just don't hurt anyone." "Luna, no!" Beatrice cried. "You can't!" Mira sobbed. But I had already made my decision. "I'll come with you," I repeated to Aldrich. "But you have to promise on your honor as an alpha that you'll leave these people alone." Aldrich smiled his terrible smile. "I promise. You have my word." He was lying. I could see it in his heart with my Moon Priestess powers. He would kill them all anyway, the moment he had what he wanted. But I pretended to believe him, because I had a plan of my own.